right, and a shout out to Big Baby on YouTube for leaving a comment on my video about Candace and Hannah versus Jim, who will come out on top. Jeremy, I have a theory. What if Hannah doesn't slap Jim because of Benny? What if Candace mentioned that Jim mentioned killing her son, and that sets Hannah off even more? That comment alone has gotten a lot of support from other fans, and I love it. It is a very, 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 very good theory to expand upon the video I did. Now, I remember talking with Channel on the live stream last night about the upcoming episode, and the fact that we know that Hannah does slap the taste out of Jim's mouth. And the question is, what if that is the case? I mean, I was saying that you never know what's going to happen when those two encounter Jim, because, Jim being Jim, he's probably going to run his mouth off. And once again, it's going to lead to him being slapped right in the mouth like he deserves to be. But if you remember back to the episode, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Veronica show. That was the episode where, and actually, let me pull it up real quick. I want to pull it up on my computer here and just kind of fast forward through it, because I'm talking about that scene between Candace and Jim, where Candace is going to her hotel room, and unbeknownst to her, Jim is actually a few rooms down the same hallway. And this is, of course, after the Quincy Jr. death, and I believe at the same time it was yeah, I'm fast forwarding through the episode now, making sure I got the right spot. Because what I really liked about this episode was the fact, yep, this is it, the Veronica show. It was the scene right after we have Wyatt and Anna walking through the park, and Wyatt sees that priest from his past and it spooks him. But really, the main question is whether or not Jim has something to do with the murder of Quincy Jr. And he pretty much laid out some details that really got us thinking, like, well, think about it this way. You have your mother in the bathroom behind a closed door with your son, and despite all the bullets that went through the door, your son was the only one hit and your mother wasn't. It would take a marksman with specific aim and accuracy to be at a certain angle to make sure your son was hit, but not your mother, Hannah. So again, it was hinted, but it wasn't confirmed. And I even did a video a couple months ago saying, after I went back again, watched that scene and broke it down, it does kind of make sense that Jim would have something to do with it. But again, like Catherine says, he's just a son of a bitch. So he could just be, running his mouth off as usual, digging the knife in a little bit deeper, because as he told Candace, I know what it's like to lose a child, referencing Amanda. So let's say if for whatever reason Quincy Jr. does come up in conversation, yeah, that's going to piss Hannah off instantly, because as she told Jim before, hey, you can threaten me, you can say and do whatever you want to me, but don't you dare come after my child, because if you do, So I was actually talking with Chandler more about the whole thing about Candace's connections. I believe there are a couple of comments talking about, yeah, Jeremy, you're right. Hannah did say, she'll be forced to go back to her old ways, and, like Derek possibly, calling up some of her old contacts. And in the conversation during the live stream, I was mentioning that, yeah, Hannah, based off everything we know, didn't have a criminal life the way like Candace did, but at the same time, or Warlock, but at the same time, Malik even said, yo, she's respected in the hood, so she most likely knows the right people to call if something like this ever occurs. So yeah, just like, here's another example, like Benny, when he went to Warlock after he found out that Quincy hit her in the face, Warlock was ready to, bring his whole crew down on Quincy, but Benny decided to do it all himself. So that lets you know that even though like Benny and Hannah themselves aren't involved in the criminal underworld, if you will, from their side of the tracks, they know who to contact if the situation requires it. Just another example, I remember after Benny got out of the hospital back during season 2, so I'm really talking about the season 3 premiere. Remember when they did that welcome home Benny cookout party that night to celebrate Benny coming home from the hospital? And Candace was there at the time because Benny wouldn't allow her to leave, so she was sitting on the stoop with the black hoodie on and everything. This was around the time that Jim was abducted by Warlock's crew, and then she would eventually escape that night to get the $7.4 million. But I'm talking about the fun party. And even though they weren't shown on screen, Benny told Hannah to look at the different corners of the block, because Benny actually had a couple guys there with guns, because this was at the time that Quincy Maxwell was free, pretty much looking for Candace. So in order to protect his family, he had a couple dudes, look out for the house. So once again, Hannah could actually call up some of her contacts and take out Jim. I'm just saying, you never know. And people were wondering, well, Jeremy, that's a very good point you made, but I don't think that she's as low down as Candace. It's not really about being low down. It's about people you know. And the thing about Candace, she has contacts and resources, but when you, at the end of the day, she doesn't treat most of them right. Usually she lies, manipulates them. And when she doesn't have any money, you know, they're pretty much going to come down on her. So I remember when she was trying to find a thug to come over and rough up Hanna for the money, the $8 million, you know, she was digging through her contacts, literally trying to get people from Warlock's crew that might have been, you know, still able to help her, because at this point Warlock was dead and most of his, I'm guessing, top guys who were shot down at the Malone restaurant. I'm just saying that I feel like it's possible that even though Candace does have resources, I don't feel like they're as loyal to her as the people in Hanna's circle will be loyal to her, because Hanna, I mean, look at the fact that she raised Warlock like one of her own. I feel like that enough gives her enough pull within the community to call upon some people when she needs some help. So I just feel like by her random acts of kindness growing up, I mean, you know, growing up in that hood, there are probably people who would just lay down their lives for her if the situation, you know, called for it. That's just my opinion right there. But yeah, aside from, I was going to do a separate video on this, but I don't really want to spam the channel when I could just toss it in here. I was actually thinking, like, you know, what will Jim do after Hanna slaps him, and, you know, will he retaliate? And another question is, will Catherine show up? Will Catherine show up to the house and just, you know, see what's going on, and whose side will she take? Because there are so many factors to this, because Jim off screen called up someone that stabbed Benny. So yeah, that adds more, you know, theories to, well, once again, what if he had somebody with a sniper rifle, sniper rifle, and you know, maybe the fact, I don't believe that the bathroom at the motel had windows or anything. So I'm just saying, with all the technology nowadays, maybe he had like heat seeking goggles or whatnot, and he can identify exactly who to shoot. So maybe he had something to do with Quincy Jr. But I'm just saying, if Quincy Jr. is brought up and it's confirmed that Jim has something to do with it, he's good as dead. Hanna is, oh man, he's as good as dead. Now, another thing I want to point out is the whole, what if Jim tried to put hands on Hanna? It would be amazing if Candace stepped up to her defense, because if you remember, way back when Candace was being held hostage by Jim and Catherine for an interrogation to determine, you know, if she has something to do with the death of their daughter Amanda, Hanna was the one that went up into the house to, you know, save her daughter. So it would be nice if things turned around where Jim is, you know, pretty much harassing Hanna, but then it's Candace that comes to her defense. So that will be a great bonding moment. I don't think it makes them, you know, the loving mother-daughter duo at that very moment, but I think in the moment it will be great. That's what I'm saying there. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. 1, do you think that Jim had anything to do with Quincy Jr.'s death? 2, what do you think the reason is that Hanna slaps him square in the face? 3, do you think that Candace will come to Hanna's aid if Jim tries to put hands on her mother? 4, when Catherine arrives on the scene, remember, this is her house after all, what do you think is going to occur? Do you think she's going to take sides? And I mean, honestly, if she finds out that Jim had anything to do with Benny being stabbed, oh, she's most definitely going to be standing on the opposing side of him. And 5, when it comes to the $8.8 million in the joint bank account, who do you think the money's going to? Do you think it will ever go back to the Criers? Do you think it's just going to stay in the account? And again, I'm not even going to make this 0.6, but yeah, it really doesn't make sense even if, you know, Hanna is standing against Jim because, you know, he ended up having her son stabbed. Even if, you know, the money's going to stay in the account, I don't really see what's going to make her give any of that money to Candace in order for her to split town, because, you know, it makes no sense. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, shout out to Big Baby here on YouTube for that awesome comment. And yeah, with that being said, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have any other interesting theories, and I'll talk to you soon. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section below so we can keep the conversation going. On the left hand side of the screen, you should see a picture of Jeffrey Harrington. You can click on him in order to subscribe, but also hit the bell notification icon That way you don't miss out on any new content. Also, you should see some videos appearing on the screen as well that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy if you enjoyed the one you just saw. But also, be sure to follow me on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all my social media will be in the description below. And in order to help this channel hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to need your help. So make sure to share this video as well as the channel around with all of your friends on your own social media. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.